The Golden State Warriors go up 3-2, but it's essentially a Pyrrhic victory in the series because they won the game, but they lost Kevin Durant, their best player. And when Kevin Durant went down in the third quarter after taking that shot and nailing it, I was just like, series is over. That was my initial reaction. There was no way in hell, honestly, that the Houston Rockets should have lost Game 5 with Kevin Durant out and the score tied. CP3, James Harden, all those guys had a lot of chances to close out the game, and they didn't do so. They failed to do so. And that was awful. That was awful for Houston's part because everybody's thinking, okay, this series is over. Kevin's not going to be here. The Warriors are no longer unbeatable. Kevin was their go-to guy. But then Steph Curry stepped up. Klay Thompson stepped up. Kevin Looney got a huge offensive rebound. So all of that being said, it's like not only did Houston squander a great opportunity, now they got something real to deal with. You know, there's a freestyle battle there. The name is Math Hoffa. He says, real grown man bars are something you got to deal with. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green are now something the Houston Rockets have to deal with now on a more consistent level. When Kevin Durant was there, it was easy to load up on those guys because of the simple fact that you know that the ball was going to Kevin at the end of the day. So you just knew that, okay, at certain points I could lay off of Draymond. Certain points I could do this. Certain points I could do that. Certain points I could lay off of Klay because Klay's struggling. Now you don't know what the Warriors' offense is going to be. You don't know how they're going to push their offense. Now it's a more fluid and more movement offense. Like, to me, I still feel like the Rockets should win this series and could win the series. But I feel like now it's going to be more complicated. You lose Game 5. If Kevin goes down with an injury, you should have won 5, close them out 6. Now you're putting everything in the hands of the basketball guys. When you think about it, last year, Rockets had a 3-2 lead. In Game 6, they had like a 15-point lead or something like that. Lose it. I think they had a 20-point lead. They lost it. Klay went off. Game 7, they had a 15-point lead. They lost it. Now, what you're telling me is, in the next two possible games you play, you don't think Klay or Stephen Curry is going to have a huge game, monster game? If you think that they're not going to have a monster game, if you just count on James Harden having a monster game, but Klay or Steph to not have a major game now that they're going to get the ball more, you're out of your mind. That being said, if the Houston Rockets lose this series, they have nothing else to say about we want to beat the champs, we want to beat the champs. The Houston Rockets, by just general principle, they should win this series. If they fail to win this series, do not talk to me about James Harden being MVP. I mean, I already picked the Rockets to win the series before all this happened. And I would hate for them to win a series where it's going to be like now how the Golden State Warriors won last year. Oh, somebody goes down. So now if the Golden State Warriors lose, they're going to be like, oh, well, this person Kevin went down. That's why we lost the series. But if the Houston Rockets lose this series, and we're talking about James Harden being an MVP player, we're talking about Chris Paul being one of the best point guards to ever live, we're talking about how the team is built to beat the Warriors, and y'all still lose minus Kevin Durant, it's over. They're going to have to blow up that team, point blank period. And there's a lot of pressure on Houston now. You got to go home and perform. Because you basically laid an egg in the fourth quarter. James Harden didn't score. He took one shot at 7 minutes of the fourth. One shot. I know they were doubling you, whatever, but hey, give it up and get it right back and attack the basket. I think they're gassed. I think CP3's gassed. I think James Harden is gassed. And I think the fact that they lost that game was a very bad look for them. A really awful look for them. Boston Celtics, they get knocked out in a gentleman's sweep 4-1. Listen, the Bucks are the real deal, but I'm also gonna say is they had some help. There's obviously some discontent, some a lack of leadership from Brad Stevens trickling down to the players. And one thing that I didn't like, which a lot of people had said when Kyrie Irving won this championship, was like, only reason he won the championship is because of LeBron. And I was framing it like, hey, Kyrie had a lot to do with that championship. which is very, 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 very true. We all know that without that shot, Cleveland doesn't have a chip. One thing I will admit to those critics of Kyrie, since LeBron, Kyrie hasn't done much without him. So that being said, it's like it's time for Kyrie to change his game a little bit. He can't be the dribble virtuoso anymore. He has to be the dribble playmaker. He has to change his game to be a playmaker, point blank period. That's just the bottom line. He can no longer feel that he's going to just be like, I'm dribbling, I got mine, I'm going to get my shots off. He's not a Kobe. Like, to me, he works hard. He's a great player, but you don't have that work ethic like a Kobe. Because Kobe, in a series where he has a lot of help, like the Celtics had a lot of help, he's not going down like that. So he has a mentality like Kobe, but he either his frame is too small or the work ethic. He's not a Kobe, though. He has a mentality. He's just not there yet. Because the Celtics made it to the Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 without him. Now they have him, and they only could win one game against the Bucks. Makes absolutely no sense. I know people are saying, like, Kyrie doesn't deserve no blame, but he kept saying, this is what they traded me for. This is what they did. This is what they traded for me, et cetera, et cetera. He mouthed off a lot to have such minuscule results. That's awful. That's really bad. So, Kyrie, I mean, he's a great player. Everybody's going to love him, but he's catching the heat. He's going to catch the heat, rightfully so, for this. And James Harden with that Houston Rockets series, if James Harden and the Rockets cannot get past the Warriors, I don't want to hear nothing else. And I will never pick them to do anything else ever again. Hoops Junction, where hoops means hoop. Like, comment, subscribe.